Okay, hello, my name is Jimmy. I am a freelance writer from California. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I know that recent events have been tough on you and your family, so I really appreciate you being open with me. Uh, I want to make sure that you feel safe. So if you don't feel comfortable answering any questions, please don't answer them. If at any time you wish to stop or pause this interview, please say so and then ask her if she's ready to begin.
Thank you so much, and you're very welcome.
Alrighty, let us begin. What is your name? Where did you come from? And what are some of the things you enjoy doing?
I'm Flusa, Flus Brian.
My name is Flusa. I'm from Shingal, and I'm so happy with working and knitting items. And I'm so comfortable actually in working while knitting items.
Mhm. She said she was from Sinjar, just to confirm.
Yes, she's from Sinjar.
Sinjar. Okay. And when did you come to this camp? And what events led you here?
خدي أفحف سلام هاتينا كم أمنا الكامبينا من حيث من الخارج الكامبينا.
So it has been 7 years since we were living in camps. Before now, we were living in Sinjar, and our lives were very simple. Like we would just working in fields and just trying to move on with our lives, even though our income was very little. But we did actually manage to live and to buy things that we need for ourselves, our children. And like, let's say everything was fine and okay, and we were actually happy with the way we were living, even though if it was difficult. But we were happy with the way it was simple. But after those unbelievers came, as we call them kafir. Kafir means that those who don't believe in God and those who are not having that conscience, and also those who are just doing things to harm people without them feeling guilty for hurting them. So describing ISIS as unbelievers.
So ISIS being the kafirs.
Yes. So
Okay.
she's describing ISIS as the kafirs because usually those who believe in God don't do such things. So when those came, everything changed. When ISIS came, everything changed. Our lives became different. They raped our daughters. They kidnapped them. They killed our husbands, our men, our sons, even children. So it wasn't easy at all, especially like going through all of these events and then coming and living in tents until now. It's not easy, but we're still trying to move on with these things.
So for you and your family specifically, and you don't have to answer this question if you don't feel comfortable. How did ISIS affect you and your families personally?
I want to answer all of your questions.
Okay.
وكي داعش هاتين شخصيا شو تأثير يعني تأثيرك شو العائلة تاعتك؟
تأثير يعني وقت
I personally, the way my family was affected is that my brother-in-law, who was the father of a girl, and also one of my other relatives, like 9 children, along with my brother-in-law, they will slaughter on, like there's this tractor that's in the field, that they are working in the fields, so they were slaughtered on that, like 9 children, along with her brother-in-law. But also like they
With
managed
the tracker?
like there's this big car in the fields that they are using for like planting and stuff. So there's like this big instructor car, similar to the instructor car. So 9 children along with her brother-in-law were slaughtered on that car. And in the meantime, like they managed to escape, and her grandmother, who was finding it very difficult to climb the mountain, so her brothers were trying to help her grandmother to help her to climb the mountain. So it was very difficult. We never managed to escape, but we somehow did. Like God saved us.
Wow, that I'm very sorry to hear that. That is heartbreaking too.
نعم مدفي يعني أم مرتاحة بين وقتي أم همومي تخبيجن أم دليخة إنسان.
We ourselves, we feel very comfortable when we open up to people who understand us.
Yeah, that is difficult to hear, and thank you for being open and sharing that with me.
العفو يعني شو أو شغل البامة همو سهل بون شغلها هرا أبزحمتري فريمي مازن
The most painful thing and the most difficult thing was that my own son, like while ISIS were attacking us, we did manage to escape. My son, who was in high school, trying to graduate to go to university, so he was already married for 2 years, and he had his own wife, his own son, who was 1 year old in that time. So after the ISIS situation and everything, and the way the girls were kidnapped and raped, he didn't accept it on himself to just stay at home safely. He said that because like their destiny was like that, our destiny, we might be safe and we escaped, but still, I don't allow it on myself to just sit home. I have to go to war to fight for them. So my own son, who went to war to fight for the Yazidi girls and our own land, um, he went there. He stayed there for nearly like 6 months, and then like he came back for 6 days.
In battle.
Yeah, in the battle, in the battlefield between the ISIS and also the forces, in order to take the land back.
Was he Peshmerga or another?
Peshmerga.
Peshmerga. Okay.
Peshmerga.
He joined the Peshmerga.
Yes, so they were fighting the ISIS in order to get the land back, to get their own
Sinjar.
country. Yes, Sinjar back. So unfortunately, on the second time, on 30th of November, he didn't die in the battlefield, but unfortunately, on the way back home, the car flipped. There was a car accident, and he passed away. He died in the car accident. So in a way, she sensed it, because she was even fasting for God to save him, to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose a father, if you lose a mother, if you lose a sister or brother, it's not as painful as it is when you lose a son, because losing your son whom you watched growing up since he was a child, and knowing that he has a son and a wife, and already he was only 2 years married, he didn't enjoy his life, and then he's passing away in this way, especially after those terrible events. So it is very painful. Like, it has been 6 years that I have been suffering from his loss, and there is nothing that can replace him, and there is no amount of pain and suffering that can be compared to this amount of suffering and pain, because
Losing a son.
because it was my son, like speaking in her voice, like because it was my son, and like I have been watching him growing up. So but especially after coming here and starting to work, this work kind of helped me, because in a way that I'm pouring my emotions through my designs and the way I'm designing and knitting.
Now, his son passed in an accident, or was it an IED or a car accident?
The car accident, like it was a normal accident.
Oh, okay.
A car accident.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I had also had friends pass away, and when they were young, and seeing their mothers, spending time with their mothers, really helps me. Well, I can't imagine the pain you're in, but I've seen it, and it's always painful to speak with a mother who lost their son.
So of course it's very difficult for me, because he was my oldest son. He was not only a son, he was a friend. He was like a fellow who I always shared everything to, and like we were understanding and laughing and joking together. So it has been 6 years, and whenever there is a conversation that's about him, like people think that I'm actually looking normal, but it's not that. It's not the truth. Like, I might have open eyes and my heart is beating, but internally I'm dead. I can't remove him from my thoughts, and especially when I see my grandson. Like, his father passed away when he was very young, and his mother left him. She just went and continued her life. So he's now 8 years old, and me, whenever I look at my grandson, knowing that he was forbidden from enjoying the care and the love of the father, as well as the mother, like he didn't receive that right care from the caregivers who are the father and mother. It hurts me very deeply. Like, yes, I'm in the place of both of them, but still I cannot fill that place because I'm his grandmother.
Mm-hmm. The mother is the mother still with us, or no?
No, she went and remarried, and she just left her son with the grandmother. So it has been he's 8 years old now,
Mhm.
And whenever they are visiting the graves, and she always sees him, he's weeping, he's crying on his grave, and she knows that he's actually very hurt deeply. Even though he's very young, he's 8 years old, he might not understand a lot of things, but still he's feeling that pain, that gap that should have been filled by his father and mother.
Her grandson.
Yes, her grandson.
And when Yazidi remarry, they don't take their children with them? Or?
يعني ظلمتها قبولنا كان خدها كان. So culturally, when a man has a child and he marries a woman, that woman, like, in a way, she has to take care of his children. But unfortunately, it's not the other way around. So when a woman has a child, the man, when she remarries, the man refuses to take care of her child because it's not his child. So she just had to leave her own child in order to get married, because the man in our society rejects and refuses to take care of another person's son.
I see. And when she leaves the child behind, means no contact? Is it like no contact ever, or is it you can sometimes say hi and go for lunch, or
اوكي او بجنك على خود هيل نهوصا يعني هما جبنيرة تواصل فيرانا كتن يعني جبنيرة أبد they cut contact from the roots.
Wow.
They never contact with them at all.
Wow. And what happens if a Yazidi woman violates this and talks to the son?
دي تشي بدن هكا جارك يجي كا يزيدي حسكر يعني هو هكا شو كد بدن جي حسكر هشتاش. She does wants to see her child, but we are the one who don't want her to see him. Why? Because of course she's a woman. She has her own life, especially in that time she was young, but she got married in a very difficult situation. She's the one who chose to leave her child. She didn't think about the outcomes of it. Like, she got married in a time where her child mostly needed her, and she already was aware of the fact that if she got married, she will not be able to see him day to day and raise him properly because she would be in her husband's house. But when she's requesting to see him, we don't allow that to happen. Why? Because she was my brother's daughter. She was her niece who got married to her son. But she didn't respect this whole blood relation, this whole blood bond between me and them. So what she did, like, she decided to get married. She was wearing gold. Let me just clarify this for you. So whenever a Yazidi woman loses her husband, they don't wear gold. They don't go to weddings and stuff for the period of a year, and they wear black, and they are not allowed. Not allowed, but like they don't do the things that people enjoy, like for example wearing makeup, coloring hair, doing eyebrows, wearing nice clothes. These things they don't do it, like, because we're calling it the mourning process, the mourning year. So she didn't respect this mourning year or the process. She just started to get married. She wanted to get married, and she just left her son in that time where he and we all mostly needed her. So now even when she's requesting to see him, we don't allow it because she didn't respect that. She didn't respect what situation we were in, and she didn't respect her own child because she left him in that situation.
Mm-hmm. I see. She has other sons.
Two others.
Okay. And if her other sons were to marry a woman who lost her husband and they had a child with that other husband, would she tell her son, hey, you need to take care of that other woman's sons with another man?
We don't allow that at all. In our Yazidi community, we don't accept it for the man to take care of the another child's man, even if it's like the mother and father are alive, but the mother is divorced and she has a child. We don't allow that to happen. We don't take their children to take care of them.
What are some of your dreams and aspirations for the future?
My dreams were buried already, mentioning her own son. So my dream was already buried, but 4 years psychologically I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't okay at all. Even when I was like continuously, daily, just crying and crying and crying because of my son. He was my oldest son, and even when I started working here, I still was crying. I couldn't stop crying, and by this, I even realized I'm affecting others, those who were working with me, because they started to cry with me as well. Um, but however, I was in a war with my own psychology. What I did, I went to the manager and I told her that please give me the most difficult work to do. So what she told me you can do carpet. I didn't take any courses previously on how to make a carpet, but I still like tried to manage it, tried to make it. It was extremely hard, but the main thing that it helped me with was that I was focusing on details, and by focusing on details, it helped me to shift my thinking and my thoughts and my focus all on these details. So this is what knitting carpets and these things help me with. It helped me to at least not surrender in this battle with my own psychology. So even though I have a very weak eyesight due to crying, my eyes are constantly in pain. I have a back pain, but knitting carpets is that help source that helps me to relieve the psychological pain, as well as the details help me by focusing my thoughts on these small threads, and to know which thread I'm going to put the next. It's like very small, but still it helped me. Like these small details help me to manage how to shift my thinking, how to focus on other things rather than thinking about my own son. But the main thing that I wish for is that due to our situation and due to the way we're living, at least if those organizations could help us. Like before now, there was IOM here in this place, and they would give them this salary like $300 monthly. But then IOM project ended, so here now FIF is in control. So our system is that whatever item is sold that they made, we are paying them. Like whatever they make and it's getting sold by like other people are buying it, we're just giving them the money, like as if we're reimbursing them. So um for this, why I'm saying this is because I have an orphan grandson. I have a grandson who lost his father and also who lost his mother, and I, even though my sons are his uncles, I don't want my grandson to be asking help from them. I don't want him to go ask for money from them. I don't want him to go tell them to buy something for him. I want him to come to me. I want to be his father or mother. I want to be the main caregiver for him. So that's why he's my main concern in the moment. Like that's why I want like a payment, a salary or something to support my grandson with, to support him in his school, to provide everything he needs.
What is your message to the West?
تتش رسالة هاي تجد جهين يا رخي غربي. My message is that first I want to thank you a lot for coming here and for giving me this opportunity to speak up, to share my experience, and also to tell you what my sufferings were. At the same time, my message is that I want from those, like whether it's our country or any other country, or like abroad, the West, the East, who can help to just help us, the Yazidi women, to help the Yazidi women, the Yazidi girls, the Yazidi orphans, the poor people who have a lot of skills but don't have the opportunity. So like whoever can help and knows that he or she can help to just help us, whether it's an organization also, because like as you know, like the Yazidi community has gone through a lot of genocides, and this was the most painful one, especially in such a modern time. That's why like this is my only wish, that those whoever can provide help to help us, and in order for us to at least reach the smallest of our goals, because through all of this time you're suppressed emotionally. Our rights are also suppressed.
Suppressed by who?
Suppressed, like the community, and they themselves suppress their emotions.
Okay.
Yeah, because like because of the traumatic events and also the sad history things, the events that were happening, especially the war in ISIS and the way they saw the things
حتى
happen
أنا
like
كي
slaughtering, kidnapping,
كان
and raping
هدفها إني في
to the
خانكي
community and the girls
وعالمي
especially. All of this made them like in a way to not open
وتعيشين
up and to just suppress these
أنتي
emotions
كل
and always
دليل
constantly feeling pain.
جيكي قال
So
بكري
my main wish is
يعني
that
بنعمة
we have a lot of wounds and like as you know like meeting and having like an income, these are the smallest things that help us to at least recover some of these wounds, because we know that we can support ourselves and our children and we can live or continue living at least. So this was my thing. Like I want to thank you a lot because you gave me this opportunity to open up, to share my pain with you, and thank you so much for listening.
Very welcome. I do have one question, and I think you're gonna like this one. You were very close to your son, and your son did stand up to Daesh and went to war with them. Did he ever share any war stories with you about his stand against Daesh?
Yes, he was sharing with me, especially when I was calling him. He did mention to me that once when they were going like village by village, they went to capture ISIS that was one village away. So the moment ISIS saw them, they ran away. So this was like feeling as a victorious moment, like seeing ISIS all running away from them. So I do remember when he was telling me these stories, and especially I do remember this one when he was telling me that they are running away from us when we are trying to follow and capture them.
What was your son's name?
صباح يبل
His name was Sabah. He was a tall man with yellow eyes, and whenever he was seeing me, he would just come kiss my head and kiss my cheeks, and always would tell me that I wish I died before you. Like I always would tell him, don't say that. You don't know how much painful it is, like to lose your own son. He would always tell me, no, I wish I died before you, and I don't see your own death. So unfortunately, this was my destiny. Like losing my son was my destiny.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me again. I'm deeply sorry for your loss. I think any human being would be, and I will do my best to reach out to anyone I know in the West to support you and your people.
We want to thank you a lot, and thank you so much for all of these opportunities and the thing that you will do for us. But like the main thing that we want is that even though we don't have a specific fixed salary, but at least like those knitting things that we are making to be sold, like for people to come and just buy it, because we will have an amount from it, like that will come to us. So we'll be very happy if people came and supported us by buying our items, our carpets, our rugs, our painting carpets, the scarves, the hats, and anything that we make. We will be very glad when we see people buying our own products, because it's also kind of a support for us.
Absolutely.
بالتأكيد.
Thank you so much.
Alex was good.
قال لك ممنون